The vast emptiness of space stretched before June Park like an infinite canvas of darkness. The research vessel Nexus hummed quietly, its advanced systems monitoring the distant star clusters of the Andromeda sector. June wasn't like most scientists. Where others saw emptiness, he saw potential. His fingers moved across the holographic display, tracking minute energy signatures that most would ignore. The ship's sensors had been picking up strange electromagnetic pulses for days, tiny whispers of something extraordinary hiding just beyond normal detection. Suddenly, the communication panel flickered. A burst of mathematical sequences flooded the screen, complex beyond anything June had ever seen. The patterns weren't random. They were deliberate, calculated, intelligent. Most crew members would have called it a system glitch. June knew better. He isolated the signal, running it through multiple decryption protocols. Each attempt revealed new layers of complexity. The transmission was alive, adapting, responding to his analytical approaches. The ship's artificial intelligence began to tremble. Warning lights flashed across multiple panels. Something was approaching, something that didn't follow any known rules of space travel. June remained calm. His heart raced, but his hands were steady. Years of training had prepared him for unexpected scenarios, but nothing could have prepared him for what was about to happen. A soft blue light began to form outside the vessel's observation window. It wasn't like starlight. This was different. Organic, pulsing with an intelligence that seemed almost alive. The light grew, transforming from a tiny point to a massive energy construct. It didn't move like a traditional spacecraft. Instead, it seemed to fold and unfold through space, breaking every known law of physics. Incoming transmission, the ship's computer announced in its monotone voice. June watched as complex geometric patterns began to form on his screen. They weren't just patterns. They were a language, a communication method so advanced it defied human understanding. The crew around him had frozen. Some were terrified, others were mesmerized. But June saw something else, an opportunity. First, contact wasn't just about technology. It was about understanding. He began to respond, not with words, but with mathematical sequences. Each response was a carefully constructed message, showing the entity that humanity wasn't just another primitive species. They were intelligent, curious, capable of complex thought. The blue light outside seemed to pulse in response. It was listening, analyzing, studying. Minutes felt like hours. Hours felt like moments. The entire universe seemed to compress into this single point of communication. Then, unexpectedly, a voice emerged, not through speakers, not through traditional communication channels. It emerged directly in June's mind, clear, precise, powerful. "Interesting," the voice said. It wasn't human, it wasn't mechanical. It was something entirely different. June didn't speak. He didn't need to. His mind was already constructing responses, analyzing the communication method, understanding the profound moment unfolding before him. The blue light began to change shape. It wasn't just energy anymore. It was becoming something more, something that suggested intelligence far beyond human comprehension. At that moment, June understood. This wasn't just a random encounter. This was the beginning of something extraordinary. Humanity was about to take its first real step into a larger, more complex universe. The ship's systems continued to record every microsecond of the encounter. But no recording could capture the true magic of the moment, the sense of wonder, the infinite potential of discovery. Outside, the blue light continued to pulse, watching, waiting, communicating, and June Park stood at the center of it all, ready to bridge the gap between humanity and something entirely unknown. First contact had begun. The communication continued beyond traditional understanding. June discovered that the entity communicating with him wasn't just sharing information. It was exploring human potential through intricate mental exchanges. Each transmission felt like a complex dance of thoughts. The blue light, which the mysterious entity seemed to control, would transform mathematical sequences into vivid mental images. These weren't just pictures. They were entire scenarios, complex scenarios that challenged human perception. June realized quickly that this wasn't standard communication. The entity, which he mentally named the Presence, was testing humanity's cognitive flexibility. Mathematical equations became landscapes. Scientific concepts transformed into emotional experiences. When June tried to analyze a quantum mechanics equation, the Presence would suddenly shift the scenario. Instead of cold numbers, he would find himself experiencing the equation as a living, breathing environment. Particles became characters. Probability waves transformed into emotional journeys. The research vessel's crew watched in bewilderment. Their advanced monitoring systems couldn't comprehend what was happening. June's brain was processing information at speeds impossible to track. His neural pathways were expanding, adapting to something completely alien. The Presence seemed particularly fascinated by human emotional intelligence. Where most species communicated through pure logic, humans had something unique, the ability to blend rational thinking with deep emotional understanding. During one remarkable exchange, June found himself experiencing a complex technological concept through an emotional lens. Her advanced energy transfer mechanism wasn't just a scientific process. It became a story of connection, of relationship between different energy states. His colleagues watched in amazement. June's brain activity showed unprecedented levels of neural connectivity. He wasn't just receiving information, he was engaging in a profound intellectual dance with something far beyond human comprehension. The research vessel's chief medical officer monitored June's vital signs. His brain was functioning at levels never before recorded. Neural networks were forming and reforming with incredible speed. It was as if his entire cognitive structure was being rewired, expanded. Days passed, or perhaps hours. Time became a flexible concept during these exchanges. The Presence showed no signs of fatigue. If anything, it seemed increasingly curious about human potential. Technological concepts became living experiences. A discussion about quantum entanglement transformed into a journey through multiple realities. June wasn't just learning, he was experiencing knowledge in its purest form. The blue light outside the vessel continued to pulse. Sometimes it would expand, covering entire viewing screens. Other times it would contract into a tiny point of intense energy. Each transformation seemed to communicate something profound. June's mind was becoming a bridge between human understanding and something far more advanced. He wasn't just receiving knowledge, he was participating in a cosmic dialogue that challenged everything humanity understood about communication and intelligence. The research team could only watch. Their most advanced recording equipment captured nothing more than static and incomprehensible energy signatures. But something extraordinary was happening. Slowly, humanity was being introduced to a way of understanding that went beyond language. Beyond technology, beyond current scientific limitations, the Presence seemed to be preparing humanity for something larger. These knowledge exchanges weren't just about sharing information, they were about transformation, about potential. June's colleagues began to understand that this wasn't just a scientific encounter, this was an invitation to expand, to grow, to see the universe in ways never imagined. As another complex scenario unfolded in June's mind, he realized something profound. Humanity was standing at the edge of a new understanding, not just of technology or science, but of consciousness itself. The blue light pulsed, the mental exchange continued, and humanity waited, watching, understanding that everything was about to change. Knowledge was no longer something to be learned, it was something to be experienced. The world changed overnight. Technologies that once seemed impossible became reality. June stood in the United Global Research Center, surrounded by scientists from every continent, presenting breakthrough after breakthrough. The first major transformation came with energy production. The mysterious Presence had shared a quantum energy transfer method that made fossil fuels look like primitive campfires. One small device could now power entire cities without any environmental damage. Countries that were once energy poor suddenly found themselves with unlimited potential. Transportation transformed completely. Vehicles no longer needed roads. They moved using gravity manipulation technologies that the Presence had casually revealed during one of its mental exchanges with June. What seemed like magic to previous generations became standard technology. Medical systems experienced the most dramatic change. Diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries became treatable within minutes. Cancer could be reversed. Genetic disorders could be corrected at the molecular level. Human lifespan suddenly extended to hundreds of years. Governments worldwide watched in both excitement and concern. This wasn't just technological advancement. This was a complete reimagining of human potential. June became the primary interface between humanity and the advanced civilization. His ability to translate complex technological concepts made him invaluable. Where most scientists would struggle to understand, he could seamlessly interpret the advanced knowledge. Space exploration technologies jumped centuries ahead. Spacecraft design changed completely. Instead of massive rocket systems, small quantum drive units could now traverse solar systems in days. Interplanetary travel became as simple as driving between cities. The global economy restructured. Countries that previously struggled with technological limitations suddenly found themselves at the forefront of innovation. Economic barriers collapsed as new technologies made traditional limitations irrelevant. During one remarkable presentation, June demonstrated a communication device that could translate any language instantly, including animal communication. The device didn't just translate words, it understood context, emotion, and cultural nuance. Agricultural systems transformed. Crop production methods allowed food to be grown in any environment. Deserts could now produce abundant harvests. Vertical farming became standard in urban centers. World hunger became a rapidly disappearing problem. Computer systems evolved beyond recognition. Quantum computing, which had been theoretical, became a standard technology. Information processing speeds increased by millions of percent. Complex calculations that would have taken years could now be completed in milliseconds. Environmental restoration technologies emerged. Machines could now actively remove pollution, repair damaged ecosystems, and reverse climate change damage. Technologies that environmentalists had dreamed about for decades became everyday solutions. The Presence watched these developments through June, seemingly satisfied with humanity's response. It wasn't just sharing technology, it was guiding human potential, showing them what was possible when intelligence and creativity combined. Military technologies became defensive rather than offensive. New force field technologies made traditional weapons obsolete. Conflict resolution technologies emerged that could defuse tensions before they escalated. Educational systems transformed. Learning became an immersive experience. Students could now experience historical events, understand complex scientific concepts through direct mental interfaces, and learn multiple languages instantly. Artificial intelligence reached a new level of understanding. These systems were no longer just computational tools. They became collaborative partners, understanding emotional and ethical considerations. June understood that this was more than technological advancement. This was a fundamental shift in human potential. The Presence was showing humanity its true capabilities, pushing them beyond current limitations. Global leaders began to understand that this wasn't just about technology. This was about a complete reimagining of human civilization. Every system, economic, social, environmental, was being rebuilt from the ground up. The blue light that had first appeared during the initial encounter continued to pulse softly in the background of research centers worldwide. A silent reminder of the extraordinary journey humanity had begun. Technology was no longer something humans created. It had become a living, breathing extension of human potential, and everything was about to change. The massive orbital conference center hung suspended above Earth, a testament to humanity's newfound technological prowess. Representatives from 17 different galactic civilizations gathered, their arrival a spectacle of incredible diversity. June Park stood at the center of this extraordinary moment. His selection as humanity's primary representative wasn't a political decision. It was a recognition of something deeper. His unique ability to communicate and understand made him more than just a diplomat. He was a bridge between worlds. The conference hall defied traditional understanding. Holographic interfaces shifted and transformed, allowing each species to communicate in their most comfortable format. Some communicated through color patterns, others through complex mathematical sequences. Humans used a combination of verbal and emotional communication that fascinated the other civilizations. Each alien representative studied June carefully. Humanity had transformed rapidly in just a few years. Technologies that seemed impossible were now standard. Environmental restoration, advanced medical treatments, and quantum communication systems proved that humans were no ordinary species. The first speaker was a crystalline being from a distant star system. Its body shifted like liquid light. Communication, happening through intricate energy patterns. The message was clear. Humanity had caught the attention of the galactic community. "How you are different," the crystalline being communicated. The translation systems struggled to capture the full complexity of the message. It wasn't just a statement. It was an observation, a recognition of something unique. June listened carefully. He understood that this wasn't just a diplomatic meeting. This was an evaluation. The galactic civilizations were trying to understand what made humans special. The presentation began. Holographic displays showed humanity's rapid technological and social evolution, environmental recoveries, medical breakthroughs, peaceful conflict resolution technologies. Each slide told a story of a species that refused to be limited by its current capabilities. Other civilizations shared their histories. Most had taken thousands of years to achieve similar advancements. Humans had done it in mere decades. Their ability to adapt, to learn, to transform was unprecedented. A reptilian representative from an advanced technological civilization seemed particularly impressed. Its multiple eyes studied the human achievements with genuine curiosity. Humans weren't just developing technology, they were reimagining potential. The cosmic challenge was revealed midway through the conference. A massive energy disruption was spreading through multiple star systems. Most civilizations saw it as an impossible problem. Humans saw an opportunity. June presented a potential solution that combined quantum mechanics, emotional intelligence, and adaptive technologies. The other civilizations watched in amazement. Where they saw limitations, humans saw possibilities. The conference hall buzzed with energy. This wasn't just a meeting. This was a moment of recognition. Humanity was being evaluated for something larger. Membership in a galactic consortium that had existed for millions of years. Political systems became irrelevant. Traditional human divisions of nationality, race, and culture dissolved. They were now being seen as a single species with extraordinary potential. The final decision came unexpectedly, not through a formal vote, but through a collective energy that filled the conference center. Humans weren't just being invited. They were being recognized as a critical part of the galactic community. June felt the weight of the moment. This wasn't just a personal achievement. This was a victory for every human who had ever dreamed of something more, who had looked at the stars and imagined possibilities, the crystalline being made the final statement. Its energy patterns shifted, creating a complex communication that spoke beyond words. Humanity was now part of something larger, a cosmic community that had been waiting for a species like them. As the conference concluded, June understood that this was just the beginning. Humanity's real journey was just starting. The galaxy had been waiting, and humans were ready. Stars themselves seemed to pulse with excitement. The final project began in silence. June and the mysterious entity known simply as Aria stood at the center of a massive research facility that defied traditional understanding of space and time. Their mission was simple yet impossible: solve the cosmic energy disruption threatening multiple star systems. Where other civilizations saw an insurmountable challenge, humans saw an opportunity for extraordinary innovation. The research facility existed in a space between realities. Quantum mechanics became a living, breathing environment. Walls shifted like liquid thought. Computational systems processed information faster than human minds could comprehend. Arya watched June with a mixture of curiosity and respect. Humans had proven themselves unique among galactic civilizations. Their ability to combine emotional intelligence with technological innovation was unprecedented. The energy disruption appeared like a massive wound in the fabric of space. Most civilizations would attempt to repair it using traditional technological methods. June saw something different. He saw a living system that needed understanding, not just fixing. Days turned into weeks. Weeks became months. Time itself became a flexible concept inside the research facility. June's team worked alongside representatives from 15 different galactic civilizations, each bringing unique perspectives. Their approach was revolutionary. Instead of fighting the energy disruption, they began to communicate with it, treating it like a living system rather than a mechanical problem. Emotional intelligence became as important as mathematical calculations. Quantum computers processed trillions of potential scenarios every microsecond, but it was human creativity that provided the breakthrough. June realized the disruption wasn't a problem to be solved, it was a message to be understood. The solution came unexpectedly, not through advanced technology, but through a moment of profound human insight. June understood that the energy disruption was actually a communication attempt from an unknown cosmic intelligence. Arya watched in amazement as human team members began to approach the problem with a combination of scientific precision and emotional creativity. Where other civilizations would have used force, humans chose understanding. The facility itself seemed to respond to their approach. Computational systems became more than just machines. They became collaborative partners in the research. The line between technology and consciousness began to blur. Global communication systems tracked the project. Billions watched as humanity attempted something that seemed impossible, not just solving a cosmic problem, but communicating with an unknown cosmic intelligence. Quantum entanglement became their primary communication method. Traditional language systems were replaced by complex mathematical and emotional exchanges. The team wasn't just solving a problem, they were engaging in a cosmic dialogue. Weeks of continuous work led to a breakthrough moment. The energy disruption began to transform. What seemed like a destructive force became a complex communication system. Humanity had turned a potential galactic threat into an opportunity for understanding. June understood this was more than just a scientific achievement. This was a demonstration of human potential, their ability to see beyond traditional limitations, to approach challenges with creativity and compassion. The final moments of the project were extraordinary. The energy disruption resolved itself, revealing a complex network of cosmic communications that had been hidden for millions of years. Humanity had not just solved a problem, they had opened a new chapter of galactic understanding. Arya's final communication was simple yet profound. Humans had proven themselves as more than just another technological species. They were cosmic communicators, bridges between different levels of universal intelligence. The research facility began to dissolve, not through destruction, but through a graceful transformation. The boundaries between technology, intelligence, and consciousness became fluid. Humanity had stepped into a new understanding of reality. As the project concluded, June realized they had done more than solve a cosmic problem. They had demonstrated humanity's true potential, the ability to transform challenges into opportunities. To see beyond current limitations, the stars themselves seemed to pulse with a new understanding. Humanity's real journey was just beginning.